Now, many of you here would remember when the Lord's Prayer had to be recited in school. Now, the two youngest here, who were both on my right and left up front here, now, actually, you were in a Catholic school, so that would be expected. Did you still have to do the Lord? You still had to. So even at that age, okay. I remember as an avowed and very militant atheist, even as a child, having to learn the Lord's Prayer. Now, I fought and bucked it every step of the way, because even at that point, I didn't think it was right that faith should be pushed upon other people. So when they say they're taking up prayer in schools, I say, no. As long as there are exams, there's prayer in schools. There will always be, oh God, please get me through this. But see, that's a non-denominational, non-creedal prayer type, rather than a specific set prayer, such as the Lord's Prayer, which is a particularly Christian prayer. Now, its themes cover a wide range of bases. However, it is still particularly Christian. Now, most kids don't learn the Lord's Prayer. I knew back in the late 90s that things had really changed in a short, well, what seemed to me like a short time. And I guess maybe there's a funny reflection on life that it just, the older you get, the quicker it just seems to race by. And what seems like yesterday was actually a couple of decades ago. I presided at a funeral, a very large funeral in a very small country church, jam-packed to the rafters. And afterwards, my secretary, who was at the funeral, said, Troy, I want to tell you, there were two kids in front of me, and these were about 18, 19-year-old kids, who were saying, what is that everybody is saying together? And it was the Lord's Prayer. These young adults had never heard it before. They did not know it. They hadn't been taught it. And they wondered, as they were at this funeral, in a church that was not their church, what this was that everybody was doing together. In fact, to some people, it might even sound kind of cultish, But I knew then that things had changed. Now, for most older Christians, and this will be a good number of you here, there are three aspects that are crucial, considered crucial aspects of memorization for our faith. The first is the 23rd Psalm. You remember in Sunday school you had to learn the 23rd Psalm? The second one may be the Ten Commandments. Maybe. Depending on which congregation you go, or some of our congregations, it's 2 commandments and 8 suggestions. But you had to memorize those, and you had to memorize the Lord's Prayer. And we justified this by saying, this is what Jesus told us to do. He said, when you pray, pray like this. That sounds kind of like a command, doesn't it? When you pray, pray like this. Except, I'm going to spend the next few weeks arguing that it is not a command. It is not given to us as a normative part of our faith. It is not the distinguishing line between who is in and who is out. It instead is a call to a new lifestyle. And to do this, we're going to look the next 5 weeks at each part of the Lord's Prayer as expressed, not as we pray it, because we as Protestants have added a whole whack of stuff at the end. That if you go into a Roman church and keep going, they'll wonder what you're doing. It's actually quite funny to watch, but I got caught in it as a Protestant in the Roman Catholic Church a few times myself, and you kind of feel, oops. I just let everybody know that I don't belong here. But we're going to look at what Jesus gives us in the book of Matthew, the Gospel of Matthew, from his Sermon on the Mount. And he starts with this one. When you pray, pray like, there's the crucial word, pray like this. Our Father in heaven, hallowed. I'm looking right at you. You think I'd memorize it, don't you? Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. What does this mean? Well, this is why I chose the passage from Revelation chapter 4, to get across the idea of what this would mean. And I'll admit, I know Revelation gets a bad rap in our mainline churches. That we tend to find it a very frightening book because the imagery in it is just so incredibly overwhelming. There's dragons, and there's whores riding on the dragon, and there is beasts with 6 wings and eyes all over, and it is strange indeed. But when I hear this passage from 4th chapter of Revelation, it gives me chills every time. To hear how, even right now, our Father in heaven is being worshipped. Our Father in heaven is being honored. And it is powerful indeed. It is incredible. Day and night, the elders surround the throne, and lightning flashes and peals of thunder roar. And the creatures, these strange creatures, cry out, "Holy, holy is God, our Master, sovereign, strong, the was, the is, the coming." And when that happens, day and night, the 24 elders fall down and cast their crowns before the throne of the Almighty and cry out, "Worthy, O Master, yes, our God, take the glory, the honor, and power. You created it all. It was created because you wanted it." It just gives me chills, knowing that this is a story that's playing out each and every moment around us. See, we tend to think that worship is about us. We tend to think that worship is about, we come to worship. We worship God. Now that's true, we worship God. But it is so far beyond us. It is something that all of creation is engaged in at this very moment. It is something that the seen and the unseen are doing right now. They are giving all glory and honor and praise right now. And when we're done, they will still continue. When we're finished tonight and sitting over our suppers, the 24 elders will still be falling before the throne of God and casting their crowns before Him. He is holy. But Jesus' prayer puts a bit of a twist on it. See, because the elders are worshiping because that is what they are made to do. We are too, but we are made to do so in a free manner. We are made to think it through and to decide in our hearts to make this offering. And then we get to that point where we say, not just God in heaven, not just God upon the throne, we say a very relational our Father, not even just my Father, not just your Father, our Father. Not our God, not the Almighty, our Father. Holy is your name. This is a call, I would argue, a call on Jesus' part into relationship. This isn't a normative prayer, as I said. And to back this point up, well, let's back up a little bit. Let's back up to earlier in this chapter, before Jesus says, "And when you pray, pray like this." He says, when you pray, don't pray like the hypocrites do. Now, the word hypocrite comes from the Greek word meaning simply to wear a mask. Actors in Greek are hypocrites because that's what they're paid to do, to wear a mask. We all wear masks. But Jesus specifically says, do not be like them. Do not be like the hypocrites, who the actors who need to be seen, who stand in the crowd and stand up. Oh, hold on, he's talking about his preachers, isn't he? This can get pretty scary. I hadn't thought this through. Don't be like them, he says, because they get their reward when people applaud them. Hey, preacher, good prayer. There's the reward. And then he goes on to say, and when you pray, don't pray like the pagans. Well, what he means is the Gentiles, which, as I've said before many times, guess who that is, folks? That's us. If we ain't Jewish, we're pagans. Plain and simple. Now, having Scotch heritage, I, of course, don't mind being called pagan, but that's another story. He says, don't pray like them, because they use flowery speech and long and big words. Oh my God, he's talking about preachers again, isn't he? I should have thought this a little more. He's saying, don't be like that. Because your Father, again, there's that relational. Your Father knows what you need even before you ask for it. He knows. Why? Because he's in relationship with us. And Jesus is setting up this prayer to call us not to a normative prayer that must be said when we gather together on Sunday morning, which actually, you notice here in the celebration service, we don't use it. And there's a reason for it. And it is this reason, because we are called into prayerful relationship. Not to a normative prayer that must be said in order for worship to be worship. And I've heard that criticism before. Oh, that couldn't be worship. We didn't say the Lord's Prayer. I've heard it. But Jesus isn't calling us into a normative command for worship. He's calling us into relationship. Holy is God's name. Holy is the name of your Father. Holy is the name of my Father. Now, what does that mean for us? Nice words. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. It's probably the only time we use the word hallowed anymore. The old English word hallowed. Hallowed be your name. It just means holy. Father in heaven, holy is your name. Now, if we just say those words, then yeah, they're beautiful. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Thy kingdom. Add the thys in there, and it really gives it that oomph, that high, high worship. But Jesus is calling us into a relationship. So what does it mean if we say, if we come before God saying, Father? Because it's more than just a call to prayer. It's a call to a lifestyle. And this is the essence of the prayer that Jesus offers in the 6th chapter of the Gospel of Mark. It is a new call to a new lifestyle. And as we're going to see as we go on, it is a very vulnerable lifestyle that we're called to. We are called to truly live the fact that we are children of a loving Father. And that we are dependent completely, fully, and totally on this loving Father for everything. Jesus calls us in this short prayer into a relationship, not into flowery speech, because that's what the pagans do. Not into something that when seen in public, people will know that we are Christians. They'll know that we are Christians by the Lord's Prayer. No, it's none of that. It is a call into living a new life. A different life. And I'm going to argue over the next 5 weeks, my friends, that call stands today. It hasn't ended. We are called today into the same things because we are no different than we were when Jesus gave us this. We are still the same. We are still seeking to be invulnerable. We are still seeking to be in control. We are still seeking to decide what we will do and what we want to do. We are still separating ourselves from our God, from our Father. The call stands, and starts with